Hey everybody, it's Angela Love Zarenka with Lactation Education Resources. Welcome. So happy that you have joined us today, and Nikki live with our special guest, Ms. Jada Metcalf. And our topic for today is the digital LC.
Hey y'all.
Hey, hey everyone.
Listen, y'all don't know what we've been through to be with you today. But we are
You
here
really don't.
and so excited to be with our guest. I am Nikki Killings, Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging at LER. Shout out to LER, our generous hosts here today. And I do, a little bit of private practice work in equity consulting, in these lactation streets, as it were. I am joined by my good troublemaker, who will introduce herself. But first, I have to say, tomorrow's her birthday, y'all.
Oh
So
my
happy
gosh, why'd you do that? That's the
birthday!
second year in a row we've done that.
Last year, Angela got it in before I could say it, so I had to get it in this year. Happy
Oh,
birthday, sis. All right, sorry.
thanks, guys.
Next, who are you,
Um,
good troublemaker?
I am Nikki Hunter Greenaway, also known as Nurse Nikki. I am a family nurse practitioner and an IBCLC in New Orleans, Louisiana. I have a private practice called Bloom Maternal Health, where we provide postpartum and women's health home visits.
And we're so excited that we're joined today by a
Yes,
special guest who has some things to teach Nikki and I. Listen, the
yes.
Nikki's don't know all the things. When we don't know all the things, we bring in the experts who know all the things. So
Exactly.
today, without further ado, special guest, let the people know who you are.
Hello, I am Jada Metcalf from the Milk and Honey Company, and also from our group on Facebook, Future IBCLCs of Color. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, live and will die here more than likely. I am a certified breastfeeding specialist, a doula, primarily postpartum doula. And that's what I do. I'm here and I'm so excited to be with you ladies. Everybody knows I stand for you guys. So anything you ask me to do, I do it.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We are so excited about this topic. But first, let's do some check-ins.
There's that.
Um,
Yeah,
yes.
go for it.
How are who me? Oh. Um,
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm broadcasting live from Phoenix. Um, I'm traveling to take care of some family stuff. We're as we've been calling this trip the Oregon Trail. We're driving from Los Angeles to New Orleans. Um, and if any of you, or if I'm dating myself, remember the Oregon Trail. So, uh, yeah, that's what we're doing now. And just, I using this time just to reflect on things that, that balance between work and family and how we do have to pause sometimes for family issues and situations and stuff like that. So this is just a reminder for myself to not grind so hard that I don't make time for family.
That's big. That's big. A year ago this time I was broadcasting from my balcony as movers were
Yes.
packing up my house. So I know what it feels like to be in transition and to also still try and keep some normalcy in your schedule and to
Hmm.
show up to commitment. So we thank you for going out of your way, literally, and being with us today. We appreciate you. I am. I don't even know how to capture it. I want to hear, audience, please, as we do our check-in, you check in with us as well. We'd love to hear from you. Please note in the chat, how you are experiencing this moment and what you're bringing with you into this space today. I am, I think, okay, stretched really thin, doing a lot, and still trying to show up with my full self. To all the things. I'm sure everyone here can relate to that. And then also trying to make sure that I continue to be a learner, to take on the posture of a learner. And that's what today is about. To assume the posture of a student and learn from folks who are doing things better than I am, and to never, ever, ever approach this work as if I am done learning. So that's how I am today. How are you, Jada?
I'm here, like Nikki said. I'm going through the whole first time enrollment for kids for school, and it's the deadline because we just moved. So didn't know I was going to be in this school. So this has me a little anxious on, where they're going to be, if they're going to be in school. But just trying to, like you ladies say, balance life and spend more time with my kids. I'm getting a little up there in age, so it's beginning to be a little bit more in the forefront than pretty much everything else that's going on. But other than that, just glad to be here, glad to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Angela, is anybody checking in? What are the folks saying out there?
Yes, they are checking in. We have people here who are from Florida, very grateful. Another person is feeling a bit of burnout and is grateful for this midday reprieve. You have someone who is a fan of yours, Jada. Glad to hear from you and seeing you representing the state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta. So I don't normally attribute comments unless you give me permission to do so. But you do have some love from probably
Thank you.
from right from your backyard. So yes, North Carolina's in the house. We've also got the UK here, and Canada. So indeed, quite a few people checking in.
Oh,
Welcome, welcome. One of the things about our topic today is that it's going to be relevant no matter where in the world you are, no matter
mhm.
what you are doing to support families. You can show up better digitally, and you can provide content to them. You must shift to provide content to them in a really impactful way through social media, through the web, through offerings that are digital. And lots of us have not dipped our toe into those waters just yet. One of the reasons why Jada's with us today is because, first of all, her branding is absolutely stellar. Those of you who know some of my history know way back in the good old days, I got a degree in marketing. That was my first bachelor's degree was in marketing, and so I knew a little bit about branding. I knew a little bit about how to approach work with a cohesive brand that touches all the parts of your work. Jada does this like I've never seen before, y'all.
Oh,
She
it's amazing, y'all.
Thank
what?
Like
you. Y'all
like
want me to
Nikki
like
tags me on Jada stuff. He's like, look at this, look at this, look at this. The girl is
Often.
pretty. It's just so dope, and I'm like, dang,
you. My
I'm
goodness.
I never could have thought of that with all of my 3 brain cells. I couldn't have thought of that. It's so clever. And it's just like it blends so well together
Yeah.
with your brand. It's amazing to watch new products come out. And I'm like, oh, I may want that. I don't even have a baby. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I just want to call and see what the intake process is like. I'm like, can I just go through the whole process to
I want to be a
see how
honey. I want to be a honey.
I want to
I
be
want
a
to be a
honey.
Yeah.
Come on.
So what we're talking about, y'all, her company, as she said, is called the Milk and Honey Company. Nikki and I have already had shows with you about how you set up your new practice, how you position that in the marketplace, how you show up differently than everybody else around you is doing. So Jada's done this so well. So she created the company with this name that has well, I don't know if for anybody else it would have had so much opportunity to touch and so many tentacles, but
Hmm.
she has the brilliance to make sure that the Milk and Honey Company really just the branding can touch every single part of what she does. Someone's asking what's a honey. A honey is what is a honey? You tell us what a honey is, Jada.
Yes.
Well, I got the name because of course, you hear the land of milk and honey. So I started doing more research, and the symbolism was it. I'm sorry, my kids came back in again.
We get
Um,
kids. We get it.
was milk was synonymous to nursing, motherhood,
Hmm.
and honey was the abundance of the other things that a mother can provide to her family, her community. So I thought it was perfect, for the name of my business, and of course I wanted milk in there. But the honey is just representative of all the goodness that's at your fingertips, your resources. You are enough for what you have, so you don't have to go outside to feed your kids their first food, of buying the extra things, but just to let moms know that they are enough.
So honey is how she refers to her audience. all the
Mhm.
time. Honey, do this. Honey, don't do that. Honey, come on,
And it's
honey.
a Southern thing too. So that is something that I say
It's
to my
very
aunts and little
comforting.
people.
Hmm.
It's
So
a
it can
sweet
be.
Southern term of endearment. It really is brilliant, y'all.
And it
Yeah.
fits perfect with her location because she knows her clientele. Y'all, come on. She has chosen her clientele. That's what we talked about. Like, you can't serve everybody. Not everybody. Like, I don't know if calling folks honey would work in like Seattle, Washington. Like, because they may not understand, like, why she keep calling us honey. But in the South, especially in Georgia, the land of sweet tea and peaches. When you
Mm,
call somebody honey, they're like, oh, like they know that this is a person that truly cares for them and that will take care of them and know that they're rich in all the things that they have to bring
and
to
it's
this
very inclusive
partnership.
too. So that was
It,
one word. It was inclusive. Anybody could be honey.
it's gender
So
neutral. Gender neutral. Yes.
it,
Dang it, Jada. I didn't even
So
think of that piece.
listen. By the way, listeners, you've gotten a lot of colloquial learning on today's show
Oh, sorry.
already. We talked about in these lactation streets. Jada says she stands us, which means she's a fan of ours. We'll try to remember to define these terms as they come up. Real quick shout out. Nikki also does this for her folks in New Orleans. I have to give credit where it's due. You taught me the term lanyap. I still don't
Oh,
quite know what it
yes.
is, but your folks get it
Lanyard.
and you use it often in your work. Tell the
Right.
people what that is.
Yes. Lanyard means just a little something extra. So when I do a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, well, there's always a lanyard slide, and it's just a little something extra for you, or on my website, or just in the offerings that we give clients. A little lanyard for them is 2 weeks of text and email support. That's just a little something extra.
So we're picking key phrases out of our brand or out of our community that really resonate with the folks that we're trying to talk to and utilizing that in our offerings, in our social media communications. And it not only reinforces our brand, but it also endears the folks that we're talking to. There's an opportunity to do that no matter where you are. So I had to highlight that. All right, Jada, we got questions.
We ready?
I'm ready. I am ready.
Okay. Nikki, let's go with the first one. Let's see.
So one of the things that we want to talk about first is like audience, like who are your products for, the type of products that you have, and kind of where do you house all of your products. I think those are the three main questions that everyone wants to know. So who is your audience? Meaning, do you provide products just for your clients, or do you also provide them for professionals as well, or you just, or you do both?
Anyone that's interested in lactation.
Okay.
A few of my classes have been, lately I've noticed that they are not even with children. They're just
Mm-hmm.
curious, interested in
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding. They know when that time does come that they want to breastfeed. So it was kind of like interesting to see them partake in these 3-hour classes. And it's like, well, maybe there's a better way to get to them to where they don't have to necessarily sit down, because classes are really long, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Most breastfeeding classes, the ones that I attended, they weren't the most fun. In fact, I probably left more scared,
Mm-hmm.
frightened to breastfeed after I'd taken them. So my approach is really to connect and to make it fun, so that moms can see that you can have a joyful breastfeeding experience, or chest feeding if that's what you decide. Because I think a lot of times on social media and the media, we just see this narrative that it's just painful, it's horrible, it's just so demanding and it puts so much on your body, which it does do all of those things. But I think if moms find the support and the education before, baby comes, and even after, because sometimes you might need a little bit more education during that 1 to 3 day window, because you've probably forgotten a lot of the things that you were taught at the 7, 8 month. And sometimes it just clicks because now you have the baby in hand and now you have the education that you were taught. But the guide was generally for, people to use at their leisure, so that they don't have to feel like they have to cram all of this information in a 3-hour time span. Because some moms will, or parents will purchase some of my guys, and then they'll come back, maybe a week later and say, oh, I was going over this. I have some more questions about this. So that can kind of, create another conversation for education and support as well too.
Yeah, I think it's really important if you are a lactation provider and you're looking to expand your offerings digitally, or just be more impactful in your digital footprint and how you're showing up, and what you're putting forward out there, to first decide who you're talking to. Jada's, as she said, she talks to anybody who's interested in lactation. I know folks who speak primarily to parents, that they want to make sure that they're giving good, solid breastfeeding information to parents. Some of us speak only to other professionals, which is an interesting little different twist on your digital offerings. My social media is primarily for professionals. I'm talking to y'all, to us, about how to be more inclusive, how more equitable, be more equitable in your and intentional in your care approach. That's not necessarily something for parents. And I've had well-meaning friends like share it out. Listen, all breastfeeding moms, follow Nikki, and I'm like, I don't say a single thing to moms or birthing parents. I don't say it. They're not gonna, I'm talking to their providers. And so it's important to be really clear about who your audience is and to speak directly to them. Any other thoughts on that, Nikki?
Yeah, I would say, and just my audience is a mix, I think, because I think there's sometimes providers don't know how to speak to clients about some of the taboo things that I talk about, or when I bring out the vagina, which I did not bring today. But but I think it speaks to, well, you're giving these clients the information, and then you're giving these providers the information to share with their clients. So but I would say in practice, so I think it's okay to have two sets of folks. So we have a provider, and just to learn. It's a learning environment, and it sounds like what you're providing digitally. But also when you're providing your services, that it's clear who you're targeting.
Yeah,
So
I try to, well, especially with health literacy, everybody's not on the same page with reading and comprehension. So we try to make it as simple as possible, without, the medical terminology, which would be for the lactation, side of professional side, because then you get more questions. What is that? And it's like, okay, let me break this down so what you can understand, and it'll simplify for you to be able to digest it.
That's a great point. I have heard the guidance and always stuck by the guidance of materials that are for parents should be at about a 3rd grade reading level. Some folks go up to 6. I think that's a little too high. No, I'm a 6th grader. Yeah, I think 3rd grade is about right. And you have to keep it in digestible bites, because folks don't read. Those of us who send emails know that folks don't.
And I can talk, so it takes a lot for me to like, okay, let's break this down a little bit so that people can understand it, in layman's terms, if they want to say. And a lot of them, I just want to know what am I doing, So just to be able to relay the message, to whoever you're speaking with. You've got different levels of products that can service that client or that community.
Right. And you primarily have adult learners. So the way in which I teach this, when I teach other adults on how to talk to other adults, is the way in which a child learns, that child then grows into an adult who learns the same way as they were when they were a child. So if you're an auditory learner, a visual learner, all those different ways. So we have to find different ways to appeal. And I think that's what digital products give us, is different ways to appeal to different types of learners. So Jada, you touched on this a little bit about your product that you have, that you get your pamphlet or booklet, and then they inquire more about the class. So tell us a little bit about the products that you offer.
Right now, the products that I offer are, I have a planner, postpartum planner, and it's called Pardon Me Honey. And it just basically just helps you, because postpartum is like, what is going on? So I have some questions. So, I was like, that would be a perfect title for it, but pardon me, honey, I have some questions about this. So it goes through all the phases of postpartum, things that you forget about, who's coming over, who's going to clean, who's cooking, even, down to visitors, There's some affirmations in there just so you can kind of, reaffirm the great job that you're doing. To-do lists, because moms always, regardless, they're going to have a to-do list. But it just, and it also focuses on things that you should watch out for too. So, how much are you bleeding, or what do you feel like? Just little symptoms that you should look for, your high blood pressure, things like that. So my goal was not to scare moms, because of course, Black women, we have very, very high maternal mortality rates, but I still think they should be informed and they should be aware of the things that they should look out for. So if we can kind of put it in a fun way, again, my thing is to make it fun so it doesn't feel like it's such a task. You should want to be involved in, not just the prenatal, but the postpartum part. We forget a lot about that. And it was really just inspired by my postpartum journey, because I was well taken care of. Like I almost wanted to fake some symptoms, because people took really great care of me, after I had my baby. But I thought every mom should have this, in their toolbox when they're first starting out. So, when I get a lot of prenatal consults, I heavily advocate for them to purchase this planner so that they can go ahead, and start planning things out during the early parts of pregnancy. And of course, you can look all of this stuff up online, Google, but I kind of put it all together, in one place, and the things that you can focus on. And if you have questions, you can always come back to me. But I'm kind of old school. I like paper. I still have, the digital part, but it's something about the hand to paper when you write it down, like you're really committed to doing this. So if I can get moms to realize who's going to be in the support team, write it down, write the phone numbers down. So when that moment comes, because you don't know when it's going to come, it may not come, but when that moment of overwhelm comes, all you have to do is look in your book and see, okay, who can I call to help me out? Start asking friends now, what can you do for me when this baby comes, besides, come and help. But that planner, but I also have a breastfeeding guide too. So if you happen to didn't take, a breastfeeding class and you're in the hospital and you just had your baby, you can download the guide, and it gives you some tips to get you through the first 3 days until you can find lactation support to really carry you through your journey.
So I got questions. So it sounds like those are both tangible products, not download, or one is a digital download.
Yeah, both are digital. So I've had, a couple moms say they want to actually print it out. So I print it out, put a little spiral binder on. It depends on how you want, to do it. But for the most part, it's just a digital PDF that you can download if you want to print it out. I can do that as well and ship it off to you so that you have an actual planner. So it's in the beginning stages, because I would love for it to be an actual, planner to go through your first year of your postpartum journey. So I have a little bit more research, a little bit more, networking to do to fully complete it. But I think to get you started, this is a great way to get you started so that you can prepare for that journey.
That's fantastic. However, I think that might be a little ambitious for some of our brand new folks who are just starting to branch out. So where might folks begin in terms of digital offerings or digital presence?
Canva. So Canva has all of the templates that I have not found. I've been with Canva 4 years, I think, maybe 3 years since they first started, and they have blossomed into this awesome media platform, because at first it was just creating pictures. And, so now they have templates of everything that you can think. So you could literally, type in planner or a guide or whatever it is that you're trying to do, a rec card, and they will give you all of these templates. You just put in your color, your branding colors to make everything consistent. But I use Canva, PicMonkey, PicCollage, and those pretty much are how my visuals are done. And a little bit of Photoshop, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. But again, Canva, if you can find one source to work with, go with that, and then you're able to organize all of your things on Canva into folders as well. So if you have more projects, you can still keep that consistency going as opposed to have them all over the place.
I work exclusively with Canva. I know Nikki uses a few. She's introduced me to several things over the years, and I'm a person who needs one tool. So I do all my stuff in Canva. I find it great. And there's a lot of resources available on Canva for free, well before you get into the subscription range. So I think that's
Yeah.
a really great place to start.
I just started paying probably maybe 4 months ago. It's like, okay, let's
Really?
upgrade to Pro, but the Pro options, it has a lot of, features as well. But even, if you're on a budget, volume isn't high now, the free option is still just as awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those are fantastic tips. Thank you. That's a great way to begin. Now, and Jada, I'm gonna put you out here. So I actually paid Jada for some of her time to advise me on upping my social media game, and she may be offering that service to many of you on the call if you're interested. I don't know. No, yes, no, maybe not. But in that call, she informed me that if you really want to have your game sharp on social media, there you need to be posting a lot, and the bar is high. Jada, can you tell them a little bit more about what's ideal?
It is ideally now. My background, I do have a background in web development and administration, so a lot of these things do come into play. But ideally, you want to post 3 to 5 times a week, and anywhere from 2 to 3 times a day, and that's very, very consuming, very time consuming. There's this saying in marketing that you may have heard it 1,000 times, but it's going to take people at least 6 times for them to see something or hear something to even think about purchasing it. Because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I will come back to that." So
Mm-hmm.
Does
yeah,
that
they'll
mean
come
you
back
can
to it, but
recycle
they won't.
posts? Does that mean you can
Yes,
recycle
you can
information in
recycle,
posts?
or you just take the same post and you post it again. So like my projects, I'll do an educational post, or a fun post, but at least every 2 or 3 posts, you're going to have that planner in there or whatever it is that I'm trying to sell, because I'm trying to put that in your plant seeds, basically. So that when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, this is the third time I've seen, the fourth time. By the time the sixth time comes, you're like, okay, let me just buy this because she keeps talking about it. So I'm not afraid to post my stuff because Fashion Nova stays in my text box every day with the sales they have going on. And sometimes they hook me, sometimes they don't. But if you don't promote, your products, we won't know. So it may seem like you're overdoing it for yourself, but behind that one person, there are 1,000 other people that haven't seen it. So you have to be able to reach those people. And if people enjoy your content, they won't mind, a repost. They'll just keep scrolling or, hit like and keep scrolling. So,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of time,
It does. It
And it's
does.
not something, I don't post every day. I may go a week without posting, because I'm burnt
Mm.
out, trying to
Right.
do that every day. So yeah, when you start to pay other people to do it, I would highly suggest someone, if that's what they want to do, reach out to a social media strategist and have them do your content for you. But a lot of times you can recycle, like, Nikki said, you can recycle the stuff, just throw another picture on there, with the same type of words, rearrange your words around. So it doesn't get too tricky, because you're
Right.
basically saying the same information over and over again. You just have to figure out a way to say it differently.
Yeah, I found that organizing myself in the week because like I have Mondays are marketing Mondays, and Mondays I'm supposed to make at least 3 posts for the week. And then Wednesdays are website Wednesdays, so I'm supposed to do a blog post for the week. So if I put that in my head that these are the things I'm going to work on those days, then I kind of stick to it for those days. Someone asked, there was a question about what does it mean to be a digital LC? And I'll tell you what my definition is. Someone that has a digital presence. So you are on social media, you're posting, giving information, lactation information, not diagnosing, not doing
Mhm.
any of that, but just getting general information, giving folks a little teaser, a little appetizer of what's in store if they were to purchase some of your products, take your live classes or in-person classes. Um, Also, having digital products like what Jada has, where you have an offering maybe on your website. When you go to your website, you have a freebie. right? And that's a digital product. So you're kind of bringing them in to get them on your email list. And then you're
Yeah,
going to send them email marketing. What? I
that's
gotta know.
key.
I
I
got
want your email. Forget your money right now. I want your email. We can get to the money later.
right, right. Get on your email, because when you think about your presence on social media, you don't have those people. Those people aren't yours. Social media is out, it's vast. But when you get that person's email,
Heaven
that
for
is like
life.
a VIP group of folks, and you can really push, not push in a pushy way, salesy way, but put your products out there and test your products on folks. You have like a VIP cohort. So email listing is actually still very, very good. And it's probably one of the better options than social media, an email list. So don't knock the email list. And there are plenty of platforms out there. I've actually worked with 3. I was on MailChimp, which is free. And then I was on Sendinblue, which is free. Also, Sendinblue I like way more than MailChimp. It's beautiful with pop and go type stuff. And now I'm on Flowdesk, which is fancy.
Really?
And I actually really love Flowdesk.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh, I've been hearing
I love
about
it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, so don't knock the email listing because you're like, oh, I don't want to do an email. You'll be surprised at how many clicks. And if you get a click, this is all part of that being that digital LC. A lot of people are like, oh, only 30% of people opened it. That's actually amazing, because
it. Yeah.
only 25% of folks in our healthcare industry actually open their emails. So if you have a 25% click rate, you're doing awesome.
Yep, you are. And like you said, that Instagram could leave, Facebook could leave, or they could start charging whatever the new
Mhm.
rumor is every week they have. But you at least have your email list and your website. So I
Yes.
try my best to lead everybody back to my website because one, I have to
Mhm.
pay for it. Anything you're gonna have to do, you're not gonna do it on Instagram or Facebook. You're gonna click that website so that I can get those analytics too. And then that's
Yep.
another way to pull you in for the email list. And you can just start to create, like you say, your contacts, and you can separate them. I try to separate them with pregnancy, people that are already postpartum. So any of my
Mm.
classes that I do, I capture the email, find out when their due dates are, and then I go back and contact them around their due dates and see, well, how's it going? If you have any services.
Mm.
So
She took it a step further. She took it a step
it's a
further.
setup. It's a setup, but you're giving them something free, but they have an incentive to give you that email
Absolutely.
as well. So for me, I could give away, free breastfeeding classes, but out of those 10 people that were in that class, I was able to book 3 clients, just going back to check on them and see how they're doing. So a lot of people, they won't deal with you until you find out how much you really care about them. So my job is really to try to make sure that I put out that I really do care, even if you don't book me or anything, because that's something that we have to work on, that giving out the free information and all that. But,
Yes.
pulls on my heartstrings, just like want to just checking in and see how's it going, what's going on with you. And, moms like that, you may catch them at a time where they really need someone to talk to and they don't know how. So that's a big thing with families too. A lot of people don't know how to ask for help, and they'll just suffer in silence. So this is a way to kind of, remind them, hey, I'm here just checking in on you to see how it's going, and you can kind of follow up again, in a few other weeks. Just depends on how you set your business model out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a lot. I don't know if y'all caught all that. You need to run the recording back. Run the recording back when you got some time to really take notes, because there was a lot of wisdom shared, from giving people small bites that they can handle, not too much information, not giving away all your stuff for free, to capturing email addresses, all the platforms that are used for emailing, creating emails and newsletters and such, the type of information you can gather from a parent to make sure that you can circle back and show that you truly care about them and their pregnancy. So much good. Thank y'all. Thank you for that. The people are asking if you do coaching, Jada, the people are asking for social media handles. We'll give those out for sure at the end. You got to stick with us at the end. We'll share our handles.
Okay.
But yeah, Nikki, what other questions do we have for Jada? We have so much.
So we talked about finding your client, and then we talked a little bit about some of the products. I just wanted to, some folks are like, what else can I do? Or, maybe that's not your jam. I've known some people to make ebooks, right? Or affirmations. So what you can do, and this is what I actually love to do, is let's say you have a big guide or you have the breastfeeding starter kit, right? And then you have things within that kit, like you have a checklist, you have a lactation recipe book for some lactation cookies, or you have like you can break all those things up and sell them individually or sell them as a bundle.
Yes.
All right.
This is a bundle.
Right. And there are different types of products. So you have writing products like the ebooks and stuff like that. You have care plans, which our sister Tamika Latching in Love has a quick care plan that comes out today in her shop, which is really cool. It's like a tear pad. They're audio things, like for those that are doing other work, there's like a labor playlist or like a calming playlist that they create.
Love playlists. And that's
love
free. It's free. You just it's a playlist. So is a list, a song list. It's a list of songs that play together as
create an ambiance.
a collection.
Right.
Create an ambiance. I had a birthing one. I have a birthday one. All sorts of a studying one. Yeah, no, those are great. Those are great. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Absolutely.
No. We had Sterling on a while back, and she has a coloring book. So thinking outside of the box, and that actually goes to the client's child, or they have other children, or in teaching children about breastfeeding. There was one, if you have an app, now y'all getting fancy and tech savvy, but some of you are creating apps, or you have like a workout plan, a meal plan. So there are different types of things based on just pull from your interest, of what would you like to see, and then present it to your client, because most of the time our clients are a lot like ourselves, and they tend to like some of the same things that we like. So pull from that and trying to figure out what your digital product would be. Now,
There's a
Jada,
knowledge. There's something you can sell. There's something you can sell.
Now, where do you sell these products? That was my next question. Are they on your website, or are they on another site, like a online shop?
I had them on my website at first, but I was having problems with it. So I don't know if it was the platform, but now I was using Etsy, because you can use Etsy and you can download immediately. But now I use ConvertKit, ConvertKit, and it's free. And you can set up landing pages, you can do guides, you can do a subscription list, how you want. So like, earlier when Nikki mentioned the freebie guide, as soon as someone goes onto your website, you should have a pop-up or something that pops up and say, hey, check out this new guide that I have, depending on, you can time it when it can pop up, so that people can just go ahead and click and purchase it right there. But I like ConvertKit because, one, like I said, it's free. They do have an upgraded, program if you want to do the business side of it, which I'm sure it has a multitude of features. But for right now, with my volume, the free option is perfect. But they also have one called Jotform too. So Jotform, you can create documents, you can sell products and actually capture the payment right then and there. So a lot of time, my thing is I don't want to send users to click here, because by the third click, I'm not buying it. So if you make it really simple for me, like Amazon buy now, click will do that. And then you already have it. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, because I don't want you to leave my website. I want you to keep going through it. So you have to kind of make it interesting, but our attention span is really short. So you have about 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. So that first line of your caption should really stand out, to compel them to want to read more into what you just posted about, pretty much.
Thank you. Do those platforms, can you host video on them, or is it just downloads?
Those are just downloads. For the video, Teachable is really good. And there's another one, I think it's called Podia, Podia. Yes, Podia, I'm not sure.
Yep.
But Google Classroom has a really great option that you can use. I did one, but I'm not happy with it. So I'm still going back trying to tweak it a little bit, but it's more self-interactive so that people can kind of choose the topics that they want to talk about. So that idea came about from the La Leche League book, The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, because that book, I mean, you don't have to read it all in one day, but it literally will take you through each step of your journey. So it was like, okay, I don't really want to read about this part. Let me fast forward to where I am, you know, in my breastfeeding journey. So you're able to, you know, parents can click on what they are not understanding, because they may have the first latch down, they may have hand expression down, but now we're getting into growth spurts, or, you know, now we want to talk about weaning, you know, so they don't have to sit through a 3-hour class just to get to the weaning part of it. So that's where they can direct and guide themselves. But Google Classroom is awesome. So
that is an amazing idea.
Yeah,
isn't that great?
My kids.
Yeah, my kids. And I'm like, clicking all over the classroom. I'm like, this, and I literally said, like, maybe the third day of virtual learning, the teacher has her little Google Classroom set up with the little board and the bookshelf. And I'm like, we could do that for a lactation practice. On the bookshelf, they have the books that you could just go. Come on, y'all.
That's really, really smart.
You know, you're trying to make money while you're sleeping, right? So I go to sleep, you do this. If you have any questions, I believe there's like a chat section. So if they have questions, they could send them to you and you could, you know, automatically answer them. But, you know, a lot of these ideas I got, like I said, from my kids' teachers, everything. I'm like, how can I, you know, implement this into breastfeeding? I'm trying to get a breastfeeding class on OutSchool. They're like, no, we don't. This is for strict academic learning. I'm like, they have pregnant teens. You know,
that's a great idea. That is so good. I love OutSchool a lot.
To the box, you know, on some different ways.
We have questions from the folks. Y'all are watching. Thank you for being patient as we come to them. I had another question about video, because what's really hot right now is TikTok and Instagram Reels. And you give the people any advice on
do the reels? I did 3 reels and I'm tired, but those 3 reels, to see those tips, that's a skill in itself to do those reels. But reels, Instagram is really trying to compete with TikTok. So they're really pushing, you know, when you do reels, and you don't have to dance. It doesn't have to be like this, you know, shuck and jive type of thing. You can literally share information, you know, in just creative ways, but people will see you. I literally gained about 200 followers in the last 2 weeks because I did 3 reels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be intimidating too, because, you know, I like my low count followers. People like, I want 150,000. I don't want that.
No.
I think 2,000 is good for me. Like, you know, so those, you have to utilize that. People want to see your face. They want to see, who am I giving my money to? You know, so, and if you're really trying to, I wasn't, you know, I'm not working in a hospital setting, but I'm private practice, but I don't want it to be like a hospital setting as well too. So that's where you kind of have to do a little edutainment, just a little bit, where you're educating people and you're still entertaining them. We're working with a lot of young people and they want to see the TikToks and the reels. So, you know, if that's the way that they are getting their information, then we need to put the information on there, you know, evidence-based information, correct information.
Right.
So they can use them, because I use them in my classes. You know, they're funny. Like, watch this one, y'all. This is pretty cool. You know,
if we were in a Southern church in Atlanta right now, I would say pass the collection plate. Honey, listen, y'all have gotten a lot of good information here today at no cost. Shout out to LER again for making it available. This is great.
But it is, but it's just have fun, you know, because even though, you know, they see the business side, they want to see the personal side too. So, you know, a lot of people are connecting. Oh, she has 2 boys. Let me see. You know, I have 2 boys. Or you never know what someone may see in you that day. You know, that'll say that something in them just drew them to you. So, but don't be afraid of it. You know, like I say, you don't have to dance or anything. You can just give out some tips, some information.
Be yourself.
Yes.
That's it. I'm silly, so that's myself. But if
they want
silly
to see you, they want to connect with you, they want to know who it is they're going to pay this money to. And so I love it. I think this is all brilliant. And we got to switch to some of these questions because we don't want to make y'all angry out there. All right. Someone says, this is fantastic marketing advice. I have a business coach that hates a lot of the advice I get in this industry for my business, and this conversation is right on. Thank you. All right. You're welcome. All right. Someone wants to know, I think this is you, Nikki. Do you promote yourself to hospitals, doctor offices, or outreach groups? Either of you can answer. Do you promote yourself
Well,
to
I do
I
pediatricians.
do. I do sometimes. I think just in it. So the way in which I do mine is not in a digital way per se. Um, because I find that it's very hard to get those email addresses. The
Mhm.
keeper of the provider's email address is keeping them tight. But I do once a year or twice or more than that actually. For holidays, I go around to the folks that I choose 5 people that have been my super refers and 5 people that have never referred and I have the most problems with. And I treat them all the same. I take them maybe like for Halloween here in the United States is October 31st. I take them a big jack-o'-lantern full of candy and I get some pins printed and I have the pins in there and then I have some postcards like a breastfeeding breast milk storage guide and I put that in there. I'm like, thank y'all so much for referring to me, and they're looking like, what? We didn't refer you.
They just roll with it.
And they go with it and they go with it. And I was like, gotcha.
Plant seeds.
And so they're like, well, we did have this lactation person come. Maybe we should refer because, things like that. Or we do provide guides. So like just a provider toolkit, lactation provider toolkit, which is literally laminated pages that they can show clients. It's like a little flip book that we created from a 99-cent folder. And we laminated like 5 things that every client should know in your office. And they literally can show them the size of the tummy, a poop, what the poop looks like, and how much milk they should have every day. And it's
They want
just
to make
super
it easy for
simple.
them.
They will
They don't
use
want
it over and over again.
Yeah, they will. If you come with your, like your products and you send them,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Tamika, she has a care plan and she also
Mm-hmm.
sends out packages,
Yes, she
every,
does.
and sometimes you have to get on foot too, because like you said,
Yeah.
those email addresses, they are hard to find. But if you just show up with a packet, a nice little, I took a baby shoe one time and just wrote around the edge of the sole, just trying to get my foot in the door, put in a little, template, just anything that sets you apart from someone else. And you don't call, like you say, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh, my pediatrician sent me to you. And I'm like, it works.
There you go. Hook,
Nice.
line,
Baby
sinker.
shoe. That was stealthy. That's very stealthy. I like that. To get your foot in the door. Y'all see that, pun intended? Okay.
Oh,
All right. Someone's wondering, is there an extra price or percentage charge to allow these vendors to connect with your business account? I don't know.
with you mean like accessing the tools, accessing the digital products? Is that what that person? If they could
And get
clarify.
clarity. So I'm not sure. If you could help us understand that question better, Angela or commenter who shared that question.
But generally, no. It would just be housed, like you have a link to it on your Instagram, the Instagram link, if you have a link tree or a campsite or something like that. And you go there and you have a link to digital products, or on your website, you'll have a link and it'll go to either your offline site or your self-hosted site, which is self-hosted means it's on your website. Like it's through your WordPress plugin. Offsite means it's like Etsy, Podia, Teachable, Stellify, all of that type of stuff. So it's an online store that's by a third party. So it shouldn't be access code or any extra money. You just go there, get your product, and be happy.
Yep. Someone wants us to know there's a big clinic in the central US who used Google Classrooms for everything. So there you go. You see it in practice. It's happening. Someone loves the flipbook idea. Well done. Well done. And each of these platforms may charge a higher percentage to connect your business bank info. So it auto goes into your account.
Oh, yes. So like the percentage fee. Yes. Obviously, and it's a convenience. So you have to think about, am I going to be the person? Do I want them to click on my site, tell me they're interested in a product? I send them an invoice, then or you have to go through Venmo. It is a lot. So you have to figure out, and this is everything that you do in your business about when to delegate and stuff like that. How much is your time worth? And because you have, like Jada said, you have 3 seconds to get this person. So if they have to go here, wait on you to send them an invoice, wait on you to get your Venmo handle or Cash App or all those types of things, then you could lose that person. And so you have to understand, like, how much is your time worth? How many steps Do you want
Yeah.
this person to take, how many steps are reasonable and how many steps are profitable? So,
Usually
while you may have that fee,
it's still minimal. And some of them, they only take fees out if you make a sale. So I was on one scheduling app and they were taking fees out every month. And I'm like, I'm not booking enough clients for this. So I had to switch an entire platform to where they only take a fee if someone books an appointment. And for me right now, that works good for me. But trying to dish out, 50, 60 bucks a month, and you just getting 1-2 clients a month, it really doesn't make sense. But one thing that I did notice is that you have to be prepared to service these clients. So if you're go ahead and get all of your paperwork together, get all of your guides together, get all of your whatever you're trying to teach, go ahead and spend that time and do it. And once you put it out there, it's like people just start coming to you, because I wanted to do it and I had not done anything that I said I wanted to do. But as soon as I finished these products and I put them out there, it's like people were just waiting on them. So you don't want to wait for it to happen and then you say, oh, give me a couple days and I can, figure this out. It's like, no,
right.
anything that you want to do, start working on it now, complete it, then give yourself a certain amount of time. And then those clients will, start to come. And it's a learning process. So, I know a lot of people want everything perfect as soon as they open up. They want top-notch systems. They want all of this stuff. And you're going to be shelling out a lot of money. So we have to be a little creative. Google is, some people don't think it's professional enough, but if my doctor's office uses it, I think it's professional enough, so it just depends on your visuals. So you got to get, really good on your visuals, but, like she said, manage your time out and your time to see, is it worth it? And it's worth it to me, because you could buy a planner at 2 a.m. and I may not wake up until 8 o'clock and see it. And I've lost that sale because I wasn't quick enough. So
Yeah.
you can write it off at the end of the year.
I think that's great. Someone's asking about payment platforms, and how do you get how do you receive the money from these types of transactions? I'll quickly say from my experience, if you utilize something like a PayPal or Stripe or I can't think of the third one for your business. Though they do the work of currency conversion, they do the work of making sure that you're within regulation, receiving fees across country lines. The question came from outside the United States. And so it helps to utilize a service that takes some of that lift off of you and makes it really straightforward. I'll also share from a real personal story. My husband, who, he's a brilliant man, but doesn't do a lot of techie stuff, right? And so he is a record enthusiast. So he finds these records he wants to buy from people online, from these record sales sites, and they all use PayPal. Well, he clicks through and enters our PayPal information, and for a while he thought he was done. And didn't stick around to get rerouted back to the website to finish the transaction. All of us who use PayPal all the time know that thing. He wasn't doing that last step. So not only was he never receiving stuff, but he was getting these poor ratings. Like the sellers, like, this guy never pays, and it was just, he has like a 1 star on all these record selling sites.
Oh, my friend.
But he was like, I got to go back to the site. Like, I thought it said PayPal was done. And so I thought I was done. And so some of this is really a learning curve for your purchase, for your audience. And you need to make sure that you're giving them a really seamless, really easy way. To Jada's point, 3 clicks or less and they're done, to make it really easy for them. So you think about that as you're choosing which payment platforms to use and how to utilize any of those places that take money for you. Oh, you see another question, Nikki? I clicked my screen and it went away.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm getting back to it. Zelle, Angela chimed in. Zelle is another one. Banking regulations are different around. Check with your financial institution before you decide. International transaction fees can be substantial. So think about that. And also, if shipping times, if you're, shipping internationally, if you're going to ship something, think about that in your price as well. How long has your business been running, Jada? And you do so much. Makes me think you've been doing this for years and years. What's your encouragement for those of us who are just starting and don't know where to start?
I love that question.
Yes,
I do.
I started out as a virtual assistant. I will say that I was, helping businesses get started. and someone referred a mom to me that was on bed rest. So I was a lot of errands for her, and we bonded pretty quickly, and it just something in it just kind of tugged, and she referred me to another friend, and someone told me about being a postpartum doula, and that's how I found out about the work. But I really got into it with the breastfeeding. I've had a business before. 10 years ago, I owned a jewelry business. So a lot of this information that I know is from learning the mistakes and stuff from that. And it was time consuming. And I said, making beads isn't going to get it because I'm not going to get rich, making bracelets. But I learned a lot from that as far as the marketing aspect from it. And just don't give up. You have to be consistent. You have to keep showing up. If you say you're going to do something on Tuesdays, every Tuesdays, you need to commit to doing it every single Tuesday. One thing I learned, like from my support groups before COVID, my first 3 support groups, I probably had maybe 2 moms. By the time at the end of the year, I had 13 moms showing up because it was consistent. So you just have to keep showing up. Don't give up. And you have to really put faith in yourself. It won't happen overnight. For some people, it may happen overnight. But that's when you have to find out, like, why are you really in this field? Because like this, again, it can be authentic where people can think you care, like she really does care about me, or is it just you just trying to make a sale? So I've only been in this for 3 years, and I've been learning. I found Nikki and Nikki first. So they were definitely a part of my growth in my business. You want to follow as many people that you may admire, and they don't even necessarily have to be in the lactation field, because when I had my kids, I started blogging. So blogging is kind of how I was able to get into the platforms of Instagram, figuring out how it works. And don't think that you have to be on all 3 platforms and be great on all 3 of
That's
them,
too
because
much.
Facebook, nobody talks to me, but on Instagram, I get all the tea on Instagram.
Right.
So whatever platform works for you, just stick with that one, and you can always go back and, repost things like that. But just try to take it easy on yourself and don't put so much on you at so much, because starting out, you're going to learn so much information. If you're not making mistakes, you're probably not doing it right. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, and surround yourself with people that know more than you. So if I'm the smartest person in the room, this doesn't help me at all. So I try to make sure that there's always a wealth of information around me. But again, you have to just keep showing up, stay consistent, keep doing those groups, keep doing your Tuesday tips, whatever it is that you say you're going to do, because they may not need it now, but guess what? They can be pregnant in 4 more months and be like, I remember Jada used to have these groups. Let me go back and see. So I miss my groups, by the way. I'm more in person when it comes to the groups, but definitely, just be consistent and keep yourself around people, like-minded, business-minded individuals too.
I think that's a
Oh,
wonderful note to end on. That was
thank you
fantastic.
so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having
Yes.
me.
We have learned so much from you today, even us old heads. Nikki and I have been doing this a long time. We've been showing up in various ways, in person and digitally, for a long time. And I feel
You've
like
been
my
awesome. I
audience.
love these LER lives. I learned so much from them. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Whew, y'all, we did it. Jada, your wisdom is unmatched in this, and we just appreciate you sharing some of it with us and our audience today. The people want to know how to find you, how to find the Milk and Honey Company. Tell the people.
I am on Instagram. My handles are a little different because of, whatever. But on Instagram is the Milk and Honey Company. And my website is www.milkandhoneycoatl.com. So you can reach out to me, either one of those platforms, and I'll get back with you.
Fantastic. Nikki, you want to share any of your social media handles for the people?
I just sent them over to Angela. She's gonna put them in the chat. But ours is at Nurse Nikki NP, and then at Nikki and Nikki IBCLC.
Fantastic. I am Where am I? Well, first of all, LER is at Lactation Training on Instagram, and you know how to find the same on the web, lactationtraining.com, and then Facebook as well. And my Instagram is aha, aha moment maven. At aha moment maven. That's my Instagram, and Facebook is attached to that. So you find one, you find the other. First name, last name. That's how you find us. We will be back. Nikki and I will be back in 2 weeks, talking about, what are we talking about? COVID.
COVID. Last time. The last time.
One for the road. One for the road.
One for the
We
road.
started this ride with like a year almost of talking nothing but COVID, sharing updates, talking about how to do this work in the midst of a pandemic. And we want to make sure that we come full circle and close that. Not that the pandemic's over. In some of our states, it's ramping up. In some countries, there aren't even vaccinations happening yet. So we don't want to imply that it's over. We want to, however, make sure that we give the latest and greatest updates on it and our kind of parting thoughts on how we can continue to move forward as practitioners through whatever the rest of COVID looks like in any other coming emergencies, global emergencies that we may not be expecting. How to move so that your practice can withstand all of that, anything that may come your way. So tune in 2 weeks from today, and that is May something. Y'all keep me honest. 26th. May 26th. May 26th. We'll see you here live. If not, catch us later on YouTube if you miss it. LER's YouTube channel. Unless anybody has anything else to share, we are out.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That's it. Stay safe. Stay sanitized. To the best of your ability, stay sane.
Stay sane.
Be good out there, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks, tech team.